Throughout Barack Obama's campaign, universal healthcare was a major theme and rally point that brought his election to a successful ending. Those who support this healthcare overhaul believe that healthcare is an essential right for all Americans and that government intervention will significantly drive down the high cost of healthcare. Those against the major bill will admit that the current healthcare system is in dire need of reform, but a government overhaul, considering the country's current debt, is not the right solution. With trillions of dollars of debt and an increase in all aspects of national spending, it is clear that the universal health care would be too expensive for the United States. Also, the government's poor track record of running agencies proves that they are in no way qualified or capable of managing universal health care. Obama took office in 2008 when the national debt level was around $10 million. The United States was facing a weak, battered economy, courtesy of George Bush and his reckless spending. Obama has spent nearly half of what Bush has over his 8 years in just a year and a half. This deficit has no end in sight. When does this spending stop? A universal health care is supposed to cost roughly $1.6 trillion over 10 years. As is, the current debt level has risen to $13.8 trillion. As seen in the graph, the United States debt in 2009 was 369.7% higher than its GDP. Also shown is how steep an increase we have been on since the 1980s. This graph shows no signs of improvement. Those in favor of universal health care will often state that the United States is too wealthy and too industrialized of a country to not provide its citizens with universal health care. Yes, we are the only industrialized nation that does not provide universal health care, but we are also the only nation that currently has $13.8 trillion of debt. It is obvious and easy to show basic fiscal responsibility by not spending money you do not have. It is tough to trust the government to successfully run an agency. Amtrak and Social Security, for example, are poorly run government agencies. Amtrak has received nearly $25 billion of operating grants and an average of $760 million per year. It has been an endless pit of money for the government. Social Security, another government-run program, is running the same course. Many argue that Social Security is a great program that helps out elderly, retired Americans, and it does. Another part of this reality, though, is that it ended up being more of a burden to the American people and, in particular, the government. Social Security seemed like a great idea at the time, but President Roosevelt and those in favor of the bill did not take account of variable change. Life expectancy increasing of birth rates, and the inequality of the balance of ages are all factors that currently plague the program. How do we not know healthcare will have these same facets crippling the program? Both Amtrak and Social Security seemed to be great ideas at the time, but currently they prove to be burdens to our country's deficit. To fix the high cost of healthcare, we must enact capitalism to create competition to drive down prices. As stated in page 101, section 1334 of the healthcare bill, families are forced to buy insurance plans from companies within their state. We must eliminate state boundaries when purchasing healthcare to create competition amongst insurance providers. Also, insurance companies should be able to provide plans suitable for different families, not just Cadillac plans the government thinks every family needs. A Darwinian capitalism free-for-all would not be appropriate, but rather a free but somewhat regulated market that would promote healthy competition amongst insurance companies. Healthy, regulated competition would avoid corruption and fraud. Overall, healthcare regulation is in great need, but not how Congress proposed. Our nation's debt is too high, and we simply do not have the money to afford it. Also, too many government agencies are poorly run and have large amounts of subsidies. Universal healthcare is too important, and we would spend too much money to have another failure. Regulated capitalism is the answer to drive down costs and greatly improve our current healthcare system.